Greetings once again. This is Dr. Jonathan Ellerby, and today we are talking about letting go. So this is the last of what's been sort of a week-long exploration of death, grief, loss, and letting go. And of course, it's in light of this extraordinary worldwide crisis of opportunity that we are in right now. For a lot of people, it's difficult to relate to the acute experience of death and loss that so many hundreds of thousands of people are experiencing directly. Of course, we've heard about the terrible losses in places like China and Italy and Spain and now New York State. However, for those of us that live outside of those places, we aren't directly being impacted by physical death, by loss of loved ones and family members. Sure, that is happening, but regardless of whether you are directly immersed in the terrible pain of human suffering and sickness, most of us are experiencing some kind of loss, one kind or another. Sometimes it's the loss of work. Sometimes it's a temporary loss of identity, loss of a role, loss of a feeling of purpose, loss of normal. And at the same time, I would say for everyone involved, there are losses, internal losses of ideas about self and safety and how the world works that we will never return to in the way we held them before. And now you might say we might never be the same, and I can only hope that that's true, because a wise and loving embrace of the experience and understanding of the importance of loss is a key foundation to a resilient, vibrant life of peace and joy and balance. So on that note, I'd love to take a little moment here, let you catch your breath, and I have a few readings that I'd like to share before some thoughts. So first, taking a deep breath in, letting your eyes close, just kind of breathing in through your nose, down into your belly. A long exhale, really extend the exhale till your stomach muscles contract. Then a natural, soft breath in. And again, long exhale till your stomach muscles contract. Feel yourself slowing down and settling down, finding an experience of stillness and silence in yourself. And just take a moment to sit with that stillness and sit with that silence. In the 8th century, there was a great Taoist master in China named Tung Shan. And he said, if you look for the truth outside yourself, it gets farther and farther away. Today, walking alone, I meet life, spirit, everywhere I step. He is not the same as me, or he is the same as me, yet I am not him. Spirit is the same as me, yet I am not him. Only if you understand it in this way will you merge with the way things are. And it's interesting that we should have this reading because tomorrow, for millions of people, it's Easter. I will be doing an Easter, a cosmic, universal, non-Christian, or inspired progressive Christian. I don't know. But I'll be doing an Easter program with the Althea Center Denver at 10:30 a.m. On Althea Center Denver Facebook. But this phrase, to know that he is me but I'm not him, is exactly the heart of the teachings of Jesus. And here we have it. When do we have it? just about 500 years later, somewhere deep in the heart of China. The idea is that we are a part of spirit, you and I, and everything. So God is us. God is everything you're losing. God is everything you've lost. God is you. And yet, you are not God, in the sense that you are a part of God's entirety, or spirit's entirety, consciousness, energy, whatever language you like. But that entirety is not you. So we must remember in every single moment that we are a living expression of spirit, taking form after form after form. This life just a brief expression, just a brief interlude, however long it is, a blessing, a gift, long or short. And whatever the manner of our passing, our life, still an important journey for the soul of the self and for the soul of humanity itself. And yet, we hold this view that we are a part of God, but we are not the entirety of God, or God is us, spirit is us, consciousness is us, but we are not the totality of consciousness. And it helps us to hold that mystery. It helps us to face those losses and those moments when we are faced with the opportunity to let go. We don't feel like it. It doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem right. And yet, if we are coming from spirit, if we are coming from wholeness, if we are coming from love, then maybe letting go should be our way of life. Maybe it should be what we're doing every day and in relationship with everything. Maybe when we encounter terrible moments of life that pull things away and ask us to let go, maybe that shouldn't be such a surprise. And that letting go can be a conscious choice that we commit to day by day, hour by hour, so that we move our identity, our consciousness, from that conditional, clinging, controlling, comparing, competitive self somewhere deeper. Into the soul, maybe, the learning, loving, essential, true self, or even beyond that. To let go of everything. The stuff we have, the things we like, even who we think we are and what our purpose is, so that we can make space for the one thing, the endless thing, the original thing, the heart of things, to express itself through us. Too often when we hear the words letting go, if our mind is anchored in the conditional reality, then the emotional self experiences fear, because the conditional reality is a place of have and have not, full and empty, those who have privilege and those who don't. And so at some level, when we look at letting go through the conditional mind, it triggers fear. It triggers old wounding, because we are afraid that when we let go of something, there will be nothing left. But as we move our consciousness, our identity, our understanding of life deeper into the essential self, or even deeper into the universal spirit that we carry, then we celebrate letting go. Every opportunity to let go is an opportunity to participate in the dance of life, the flow of life, the energy of life, the spirit of life. Every letting go is a chance to learn and to allow some new expression of spirit to come through. Yes, even the painful losses, even the losses we don't want or choose. It can be all a part of returning to our wholeness. Rachel Naomi Remen is a physician and a brilliant author and teacher. She's also a woman who has lived with severe Crohn's disease all of her life. And honestly, she is probably, if not my most favorite, one of my most favorite teachers I have ever worked directly with in my life, that I've actually sat and studied with. 2 decades ago, I did a program with Rachel Naomi Remen, and experienced that through her own open-heartedness to her own vulnerability and her own strength, to being present and more than a healer, but a partner with those people she serves, an extraordinary kind of wisdom flows through her. Rachel Naomi Remen says, "There are only 2 kinds of people in the world, those who are alive and those who are afraid." And I love that, because as we face these difficult moments, it can be so easy to entertain fear, to allow fear. It doesn't mean we shouldn't be concerned about where we're going. It doesn't mean we shouldn't be planning or looking for solutions. But it means to move our consciousness, our energy and attention into fear is to give away our life, to give away our control, to give away our life force. When we think about letting go, Rachel Naomi Remen also said something brilliant about the healing process, which really is fascinating, because coming from a medical perspective, it converges with virtually all of the world's spiritual traditions have told us, which is that there's something more to you than what you do or what you have. And as long as you're bound up in any of that, as long as you're unable to let go of any of that, then there will be suffering. In the Buddhist tradition, the Buddha, in his first teaching, the Four Noble Truths, I believe it was called the Deer Park Sermon, the first tenet is that all life is suffering. And the second is that the root of suffering is dukkha, which can be, it's often interpreted as attachment, the opposite of letting go. It can also be seen as clinging. And dukkha actually refers to the friction at the hub of a wheel in an axle. So if you imagine, right, over 2,000 years ago, an old wagon, a wooden wheel, maybe some old, I don't know what they would have had, iron maybe, and a wooden axle, maybe again with some metal piece, with dust and imperfect, construction, and the grinding that happens, the friction that happens in there, that is dukkha. And it's the way that we resist life. It's the way that we try to hold something that's turning. That tension, that attachment to something that's changing, that friction, that is the source of our suffering. And so the medicine can only be letting go, allowing, accepting. And yes, with whatever pain that comes with that loss, whatever grief that needs to be felt, yes, but a willingness, a true intentional willingness to let go every day and all the time. And as we start to embrace that and move to a deeper way of being, we realize that maybe letting go is the way forward. Rumi said, don't seek love, but find and remove all the barriers you've built against it. Again, love is the present condition. Love is the first condition, the original condition, and that anything that gets in the way must be released. Learning to love is not about acquiring, but letting go. And in terms of healing, Rachel Naomi Remen says, healing may not so much be about getting better as about letting go of everything that isn't you. All of the expectations, all of the beliefs, and becoming who you are. And this is truly an extraordinary principle, teaching, wisdom to remember as we ourselves are going through a moment where so many things are being changed or taken or may never come back as they were. As many of us may be facing losses in our family, in our businesses, and yes, even the loss of life of loved ones. But if we hold life with the universal consciousness, then we know that this life is not the whole story. We know that what we have, even people, even relationships, can become a source of pain and suffering if we cling to it. Life is unfolding as it always has. A dramatic interplay of nature, living and unfolding according to her own rules. The universe, its design from astronomy to physics to the tiny turning of an atom, all unfolding as it always has. And then within it all, the human mind, the human heart, the human story, trying to make sense of it all and trying to find peace and purpose within. This moment is no different than the millions upon millions of moments we've shared on this planet. What changes the way you experience this moment is your relationship to letting go. And if you can claim this time in history and in your life as a way to embrace letting go, not just as a way of coping, not just as a way of healing, but as a way of being in which you can experience spirit, life, and existence vibrant and alive inside you every day, then you will have an unshakable resilience and connection to love that no one and nothing can take from you. So to close, I wanted to end with it's another Eastern, I might have lost it. It's a favorite of mine, and I know what it says, but I don't remember who said it, so I'm looking for that. I believe it was Dogen, actually. So Dogen was a Japanese Zen master, and what he said was, coming and going, the water birds follow no path and leave no trace. Coming and going, the water birds follow no path and leave no trace. And this is a beautiful, beautiful phrase to contemplate and hold in your mind today, because what it means is that even though it is as though they are following a path south or home or to the nest, and even though you can see the ripples in the water when they land in the blink of an eye, there is no path, there is no trace. There is only the moment-to-moment experience of being alive. And if we embrace that alone, then the rest unfolds effortlessly with compassion and some sense of abiding peace. So thank you for joining me today. I'll be back again tomorrow, 12 at 12. And remember, Sunday, Easter Sunday, April 12th, we will be doing a live 1-hour program at the Althea Center Denver Facebook page. Join us. It's going to be fantastic. Please spread the word about that. And pay attention, because this week I will be releasing my new book on spiritual experience. It will be completely unconditionally free. The electronic version is free for anyone and everyone. And there will also be some special gifts and offers of some other things that might help you through this time and to enrich, invigorate, and bring energy to your spiritual life. So I love you. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon.